welcome to another episode of Lifting Spirits. We're going to have some conversations around the piano. Hey, Drew, how you doing tonight?
Good, man. It looks like you got a pretty phenomenal guest here. He's if nobody has seen him, he's out there on his own YouTube channel. I know, right? It's Lizzio with an EO. It's Lizzio, right?
Lizzio.
Right.
Jake Lizzio.
So you're aware, Tim. You know, as we start these shows, we do have to pay our bills. So I want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Piano Trends. Did you know there was an alternative to your child's music career? When you go to school, buying instruments, anything from leasing to purchasing, from pianos to guitars, flutes, clarinets, trumpets, you name it, Piano Trends can do it. Very competitive pricing. And I know the owner. He's a pretty nice guy. And if you're super nice to him, he might even hook you up with a free coffee cup.
You know what? We just might do that. And we might even put coffee in.
Wow. That's right.
Yeah.
Tim, so when people are out there looking around and decide they have their music needs, where do they go and how do they contact you?
You know, you can go right to the website at pianotrends.com, or you can give us a call. And the phone number is real easy, too. It's been the same phone number for 33 years, 815-47-PIANO. How easy is that?
Can you sing it?
815-47-PIANO.
That's awesome. Fantastic.
Even hit the high note.
Well, you know, sometimes you got to hit the high note. Yeah, sometimes you got to hit it hard.
Unless you're performing at the Super Bowl.
Ooh, then it's,
Too soon? Too soon. Why don't you introduce your
that in.
Oh, God.
Why don't you introduce your guest today, bud?
Jake Lizzio. We've known Jake for almost the whole time we've had the store open.
Too long.
Jake actually was started teaching when he was in high school, and he started teaching at Piano Trends for a few years. Mm-hmm. And we were sorry to see him go at one point, but he left us because he didn't love us anymore. The
spark died. You know?
The spark was gone, but the spark is back.
It's back. Here we are.
Yeah, here we are again.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
Tell us. I write that down because that's a song title. We're going to write a song called Reunited.
For all of your ex-employees to come back?
Yeah. No, not all.
Oh, yeah.
Not all. Yeah, we won't go into that.
Come back, yeah.
Give us a little bit of your background for those who don't know you like I do.
Sure. My musical background is I was a guitar student. You know, I played guitar, and it was my entire life in high school. And I had taught a few of my friends, you know, power chords and scales and stuff like that. But I was in high school. I was like the scale guy. I was the guitar guy. So I had this, you know, huge high school ego of thinking, well, I know everything. Like, I'm only 17, but I clearly know everything about guitar, and I'm the greatest guitar. So of course I'm qualified to teach. So I went into your shop just thinking, hey, they're going to, you know, be blown away. They're just going to be just like, oh,
we're blown away.
Please, can we please hire you? And it was Jennifer,
Jennifer Ownby.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly, Jennifer.
Who's down in Nashville area now.
Right, and she was. I think I just walked into your store at the right place in the right time, because if I'm not mistaken, it seems like you were having some attendance issues with your current guitar teacher.
You know what?
Whose name also began with a J?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did.
But we changed J's.
Right.
Things have worked out very well since.
Right. So, I mean, long story short, I started teaching, you know, to handle, you know, a stockpile of students who weren't being taken care of by their current teacher. And they all kind of made it onto my schedule. And that was the shock treatment of me to be like, I don't know music. Like, yeah, I can shred at the harmonic minor scale, but that doesn't matter when you're teaching 7-year-old Zoe.
That's right.
You know, so for me, it was like a complete, a wake-up call that, like, I'm only good at one small little piece of music, and I have to learn all these other things. So ever since then, I wanted to keep my job. I wanted to have more students. I wanted to pay my bills. So I just studied as much as I could to be a better teacher. And I learned, you know, more music theory. I learned more music. I couldn't even count my rhythms. If anybody watching this knows who I am now, they're going to be like shocked. Like, wait, Jake, there was a point in time in Jake's life he didn't know rhythms. Yeah, there was a lot of my musical career where I didn't know the basics. But teaching kind of put me into that role of like, let's learn that stuff. So, you know, I got it all starting at your shop. Like, that's what taught me how to teach is dealing with those students.
And, you know, the reason that we stuck by you and the reason that we were excited about you is because Bobby and I could see that you were putting the effort into it to get better.
Yeah.
you wanted to be more than just a step ahead of your students.
Right,
You
right.
wanted to get much further than that, and you come a long way.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, at first I felt, I mean, it literally took me about 2 years to be able to go to those lessons and not feel like I was wasting the students' time.
Right.
You know, and I question, how does any teacher get to that? How does any teacher walk into the lesson studio and know how to teach? Like, you have to be forged through the fire of students, you know, students that don't practice. Well, how do I get them to practice? Students that don't understand. Well, how do I get them to understand? Students that are arrogant and cocky and they think they know everything. Well, how do I, get them on my level? And I don't know how you learn that other than just dealing with it. You can't be taught that in a book. Like, you have to have the one-on-one. So it was the best opportunity I ever had, because I don't know how else you're qualified. I don't know how you get qualified for that. Just because you have a degree, does that mean you're qualified to deal one-on-one with a student? I don't think so. I think you need to deal with one-on-one students.
It's
So,
a different
huge
situation. When you're going to learn in school and college, you're going to learn the music, and you're going to learn how to play, and you're going to learn what to teach.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about relationship with that student and how to connect with that student. And every student has a different connection level.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you've got to work at that. And in fact, I recall a story when you were working with us.
Uh-oh.
Beyond teaching, you and Bob, we had a promo one holiday during Christmas that we were going to, everybody who was getting a Christmas Eve delivery, we were going to put their names into a hat, and we drew one out, and that piano was going to get delivered by Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Claus. Well, Bobby was Mrs. Claus, and no, I was not Mr. Claus. Jake was Santa. He was the skinniest Santa we've ever had. I mean, the beard kept falling off.
Yeah.
But you two
A
did
Santa that needed a sandwich.
Yes.
And a beard. I still need a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job. Good Santa.
Yeah.
So that was fun. You and Bobby went out on that, and there was some kind of an adventure that you had.
I remember it being very strange. I remember, well, this is probably the first and last time I'm ever going to show up on somebody's doorstep in a Santa costume with a guitar and try to sing. I don't know did I sing? Did I just play?
Yeah, you both sang.
Oh God, that poor person. Why would you do that to me?
Because they won. They got their name pulled out.
Won?
Yeah.
Careful what you wish for, I suppose.
And I remember that it was a 7 or 8 year old girl who was getting the piano.
Yeah.
And they were thrilled. And I think she actually believed you were Santa.
Wow. Well, we all have our own tastes. As long as the customer was happy, you certainly found a unique way to please that customer.
We did indeed. And
let's put it this way: I wouldn't want to see me on my patio dressed as Santa trying to sing.
Yeah, neither would I.
But
But Bobby loves telling that story every holiday season. Our whole family knows the story about Jake the Santa.
It was fun. I mean, there was a lot of fun things. That was, with a music shop like where we're at. And I doubt it's like this, at some of the big chain music stores where they do lessons. It's a family-owned business. So you guys were doing, your own projects, and you knew your customers, and you were making that effort to reach out to your customers. And I got to be included with those things. That wasn't the only one. That wasn't the only little thing that, I got to be involved with, because it's such a close business. So, really educational. And I swear by it. It's the number one opportunity I had when I really trace it all back. My whole career right now is teaching and education. Mm-hmm. How are you supposed to get good at teaching and education without the opportunity to get good at teaching and education? You can't, you just can't. And the opportunity came from there. So if you had, looked at me when I went in there and said, well, this guy isn't qualified because he didn't go to college and didn't give me that opportunity, then there's a good chance I would never be a music teacher. And there's a good chance that the millions of people I have affected with my music lessons, they would never be, that wouldn't have happened. They'd probably get with somebody else, somebody inferior.
Well, and we've always
because of what
felt
that was given.
way.
So.
Yeah, and we both Bobby and I came from musical families and background, but it's the same thing. You make what you make out of it, and if you're going to be in the music business, you don't go into the music business to be a rock star. Okay, we did.
Yeah.
Okay, but
I was going to say, speak for yourself.
Yeah, you very rarely become that rock
Right,
star.
right.
So
True.
you can make a comfortable living, but you're not going to make a fortune in the music business necessarily. But the music business is a fun business.
Yes.
And if you can't have fun in the music business, where else are you going to have fun?
100%. And I know people that are rock stars, and I know, and it's not as glamorous as it might seem. It's really shocking to me over the last 8 years of my life, the insights that I've had into the music industry, and I've had family that's in the industry from a different generation. I've had family in the industry from a very recent generation, and I'm not envious. I'm sure there are luxurious spots you can get in as a performing, playing, writing musician that are very comfortable and not stressful and rewarding. I haven't seen them. The people that I know that have made it in there, there's just so many problems when it comes to money and ego and time and stress and pressure. It's just not appealing to me. And just the finances of it. Yeah, you're on stage, everybody's calling you a rock star, people are worshiping you, but at the end of the day, you still can't even pay your bills because it's not paying that much for a lot of these folks.
No, and a lot of times somebody else is making money on music you've written.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's, again, I mean, I've seen these things in my own life, and it's like, I would rather continue making music for fun and with my friends as something I enjoy doing, and find some other way to pay the bills that doesn't involve me needing to be famous, something that doesn't involve me needing to write hit songs. Nothing worse than being like, okay, I want to be creative and write something great, but it has to make money. Like, that is like, sure, if you're like a jingle writer and if you've already got but it's kind of sucks away the fun of doing something for fun, So, there's a time and a place to write music for commercial purposes, but I want to keep it where it's just because I like doing it.
Sure. So, and that makes total sense. Now, I know you were at the NAMM show. We were at the NAMM show.
Yes. It was awesome.
Everything we've just talked about, you got a sense of that with the musicians that you talk with. Yeah. And Drew knows this. We talked with a lot of musicians that had both good and bad stories to tell.
Right? Well, there's usually both. It's the yin yang in any business you ever do, right? There's always something good and always something bad that goes along with it. And some of the legendary names that we met there that we were able to interview and talk to, one of the writers from Motown, Tommy Beard.
Yeah,
he couldn't wait. He was chomping at the bit to talk to us. To get out some of the dirty laundry that I think he's just been compressing for years,
Good.
And it led into a story where he was stalking somebody, and I was like, "Can't do that in today's society." But
there's somebody named I think she finally made it. Somebody named Diana Ross.
Yeah, Diana Ross. Yeah. She's kind of a somebody, I think, today, right? So we actually, one of our listeners, some handsome guy by the name of Drew Casascio, asks, "What was one of your biggest challenges that you had to conquer in order to get where you are at today?"
Oh boy,
Buddy
that's
Holly,
a great question.
Thank you.
That's a great question. I would say,
He's a smart
guy. In retrospect, I think I didn't realize it was a challenge. But when I really think back at it, it was the challenge is like finally gaining confidence. My entire musical career, it's like, well, okay, I'm not paying the bills, so that means I'm not that good, because good musicians pay their bills. At least that's what they're supposed to do, right? I'm not a successful songwriter. I've never sold music. I don't have a famous band, so it's like I'm good in my little circle of friends. But let's face it, on the global platform, I'm not that good of a musician. I can't offer that much. At some point in time, you get a little validation. You get a little somebody from across the planet that says, "Hey, this is really good." Even if it's one person that liked your silly little song. And at a certain point in time, I got enough validation that, you don't want to write music for people to validate. You don't write a music so like, "Hey, can you please say something nice about this?" But once you get that, you start realizing, okay, maybe I'm actually doing something right, or maybe I'm doing something that's not terrible. And at a certain point in time, my mind shift changed that it's like, okay, I'm not bad at this. I'm not the best. I have so much to learn, but I can do this. I can do this. I can do it well. I can do it better than the average person that's trying to do it, because I've been focusing on it so hard. And that confidence changes everything. That confidence propels you into an area where it's like, oh, I'm going to take on this big project, even though I'll probably fail, even though I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I can make my way through. I'm going to write this song with this person, even though I've never written with them before, even though I don't know what it's going to be about, but I'm confident that I can figure something out. I'm going to, take on this production. You start putting yourself into positions because you believe in yourself. And that I know it's very Disney movie. You just need to believe. But it's the truth. You really hold yourself back when you don't even have self-confidence, because you say, oh, I'm not even going to do that gig because I'm not good enough, or I wouldn't even succeed, or I'll fail at it. It's like, yeah, but that's the point. You're going to learn from it.
That's right.
And that'll just beef you up for the next project. So I'd say that in retrospect, it was the fact that I didn't have confidence. And once I did, it's like the world changed,
Yeah, I love that. I love how you put that too. Failure is an educator. And you do need validation from somebody outside of the mirror that you're looking in, right?
It helped me.
It really helps everybody. Coming from I'm considered a serial entrepreneur and networker, okay? And I become the space I surround myself in. So if I'm around a bunch of people that are going to be like, dude, just get a job, you'll never do this, you'll never succeed, I would never be at where I'm at today in all of my companies. And so that's awesome. I love how you put that, especially for the people who have challenges today. So if you're out there watching, Jake knows best. Listen to him.
Far.
Take that validation. He's like, I wouldn't go that far. But take that validation. It works just the same.
It does. And there's no such thing as total failure, because you learn from failing along the way. However, as long as if the only time you really fail is if you finally just give up. If you don't give up, you're not failing.
Yes. And I'd also say you're also failing if it's a failure and you refuse to adapt or learn from that failure.
Exactly.
Because if you just keep doing the same thing, this is where I get, it's hard for me to give advice, because I do want people to be confident, but it's like, no, along with that confidence, you need to always be humble. You need to be constantly second guessing yourself. Like, I go into these projects now pretending that I'm arrogant, pretending that I'm completely equipped. Like, I got this, no problem. I'm the best. There's nobody more qualified. That's how I externally project. And even on the inside, I pump myself up. But then when it comes down to it, there's that voice inside that is like, you don't know where to start. You don't know what you're doing. This is the first time. This is going to be very difficult. So don't get too big-headed. Like, check yourself, do your research, ask for advice. So it's this constant battle of like, be confident and be humble. Be confident. And if you can kind of work between those two, then that confidence is giving you this arrogance to push forward. Be like, I can do anything. And then that humility is bring you back, be like, oh, but maybe I should do a little homework first, or consult with somebody that's an expert first. Those two things in combination with each other, I feel like are the magic ingredients that almost bordering on arrogance and bordering on self-defeating humility. And if you can just flip back between those, it seems like you can get a lot done and fix the problems and keep moving forward.
Well, you can, and you learn from each other, because everybody has strengths and weaknesses. Yes. For instance, jumping forward, your YouTube channel, you've got millions of viewers.
Yes.
And you've got, how many followers do you have right now?
On YouTube, it's about 660,000.
660,000. Yeah. That's amazing.
It's huge, yeah.
Give us a little background. How did you build that up? How did you get it there?
Happily.
Yeah.
So it was a complete fluke. All right. I had quit my real job because, once again, going back to never having any money, I'd always been teaching. And at one point in time, I finally, got my stuff together. I'm like, well, time to get a real job, time to grow up. And I worked in manufacturing, because that's what you do. And I would teach on the side. But after, dedicating 4.5 years of life to this manufacturing company and recognizing they're not going to pay me, they're not going, they're not going to respect my time. I saw the ceiling was so low. I just decided, let's just do it. Let's just jump off the cliff. Worst case scenario, I just teach guitar for the rest of my life.
Right.
That's it, So I quit my job. I had my music studio, and I figured I'll do anything to pay the bills. I'll do voiceover. I'll do guitar lessons. I'll do recording. I'll do production. I'll do anything in my little studio that can pay. And I would film kids and green screen them, and they would lip sync to the national anthem. I'd put the flag behind, and their parents would cry. And I'd try anything that's musical. Okay, the kids like it, the parents like it. The YouTube channel was literally just a way to get local clients. I made a thing, here's a pentatonic scale. And I thought maybe if you Google guitar lessons Crystal Lake, you'll find Jake Lizzio, and you'll say, oh, this guy's good. And you would call me up and you'd get guitar lessons from me. That's the only reason I started YouTube. It wasn't until I made one really funny video about Metallica and the missing 30-second note, which is a ridiculous over-analysis. It's like the dumbest video ever. It's like, hey, let's chop up a Metallica song and recognize that this meter is not in 3 and it's not in 5, even though that's the way it's notated in all these books. And if you really look at it, it's in 1132, which is stupid. Nobody composes in 1130. Metallica wasn't counting 1132, but I thought it'd be a fun video. And that video took off. It got like 100,000 views, and then it got 500,000 views. And here I am with no subscribers, it's like, what's going on? People are watching my stuff. Oh my God. And it's terrible because I'm out of focus. I didn't know how to focus the camera. So that was my introduction to you can put something out there that's really nerdy, that's really stupid. If you care about it a lot, and if you think it's funny, then somebody else will. And you know what? With 7 billion, 8 billion people on the planet, it's not just one person that's going to think it's funny. It's probably going to be a few 100,000 people that's going to think it's funny. So that was my introduction. Viral video exists. I got a lot of people on my channel. And it's well, what do I do for them now? And I just kept making guitar lessons. I recognized that it wasn't guitar players that were watching my channel. It was more piano players. And they were interested in the theory. So that's when I started converting my entire focus of my channel to be I started condensing my brand to be educational music theory for songwriters. I don't care what instrument you play. If you want to write music, you can click on my channel and you can learn. And it's probably not going to isolate you because it's too much guitar centric. It's not too guitar centric. It's instrument agnostic. So yeah, it was just, starting one place, recognizing what the audience wanted, growing with that demographic, and also making content that I wanted to make. There's a lot of stuff that people want to watch that I don't want to make. What's the stuff that people want to watch that I do want to make? Well, advanced music theory concepts. I don't want to make videos on how to hold the pick, your first chord. Like I did that a million times at your shop. I was sick of that. I want that student that came in that's like, I want to learn about, harmonic minor modes. Okay, I'll make that video and that person
something
out there.
You can sink your teeth into.
Yes. Yeah. So that's basically the whole story of how it, started.
Which brings us to how this book has developed. Let's talk about your book a little bit. And I don't
show
know
it
if
off for me. I feel guilty.
Show it
showing
off.
Yeah.
Can
you lift it? It's pretty heavy.
Man, it's really a heavy.
Yeah. Careful there.
Right.
Flip through it for him. Show him some of those.
Yeah. Just show him. Give him the cheat sheets. There you go.
My lovely Vanna White here.
Well, now you're holding it to the TV. That just shows where we're at with our age. Here, over here. There we go. There you go. All right, there you are.
What are we learning about? Secondary dominance, vertical, horizontal
author,
harmony.
Producer, looks like, Jake, Signals Music Studio. Is that you too?
That's me. Yeah, that's the name of my YouTube channel.
All right. So that has, and I'm looking at that. I'm going to be bringing that up here in a minute, just so everybody can kind of see where to go. And I've been popping this up here for you, right?
Sure.
So we're going to go ahead and add that in there. So it looks like you have a lot going on, my friend.
Yeah, so right now you're on my site, which is currently under construction. We've got since I finally finished this, I need to revamp my site and stuff like that. So right now you're just seeing some of the videos republished from YouTube.
Yeah.
But my site is mostly where people go to access my educational courses. I sell a music theory songwriting course. It's $270. It's 9 hours of video content, really well edited, all the graphics on screen. It's got 200 PDFs. So people, they buy the course on there, they log in, and then they can access it all on my website. So that's mostly mostly just a functional website. And then this is also available in digital format as well, where they can get the whole book, all the text. But the nice thing about the digital format is that it's easily they can click on a chord. It takes them to that chord chart. They can, when I say oh, this chord is heard in this, Buffalo Springfield song, and you click on that, it takes you right to that moment in that Buffalo Springfield song on YouTube. So you can hear what I'm talking about. That's all available in the digital thing.
That's what I find so valuable with the book. Now, the hard copy, though, is you can mail this out.
Yeah, this is available in the United States. I can ship this out for you. It's $60, $5.99 shipping. Tim sells it as well, so you can just visit pianotrends.com and you can get copies of these.
And you don't have to pay for shipping.
And you don't have to pay for
That's
shipping.
right.
First purchase, he's offering out free shipping, right?
That's right.
For the bonus customer. So if you're listening,
get a free piano with every order. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's about this big. And Adam will go and play the piano for free for 3 nights in a row. Adam Huckabee's over here with drink
wow. I'm just volunteering people.
I do that all the time.
Adam's just like, stop volunteering me for everything.
This is why I left,
Yeah, I know, because we volunteered you to be Santa Claus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I didn't even get paid.
Yeah. Oh, really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. I thought
you paid. You always took care of me. Yeah.
Because we give you coffee.
Coffee.
He ordered the best pizza ever. It's Domino's. It's going to be, that's how he feeds us that.
Well, we always had the burrito place next door.
We did.
And that
in fact, we had Domino's next door for a while. And
back before 7-Eleven became 7-Eleven, we had the White Hen. All the Chicago fans will love that. And those wonderful White Hen sandwiches.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Yeah, the best.
And
then, we did a holiday mashup. So we have a show called Let's Talk Local. Yeah. Where we get to introduce all the local businesses.
Yeah.
And we push it out there for free through all the chambers and stuff to help them out,
Yeah.
And so he did a Christmas special that we did a mashup between Let's Talk Local and Lifting Spirits.
Cool.
And we're setting up for it. And he's like, I'm going to have to feed the staff. It's their day off. They're coming in. I'm like, why aren't you paying them? He's like, shh. I'm like, oh, okay. You're going to pay him in pizza. I'm thinking this pizza is going to be award-winning. 2 Domino's pizza show, but I think he argued with the woman for about a half an hour on the phone about payment. And then it was just like, did you guys eat? Back to work.
We did argue with her about payment. I remember that because she said, no, you can't pay cash. No,
cash doesn't exist
yes,
anymore.
I can.
Right.
I can do that.
Wow.
But no, all serious. It was
no fights
fun.
broke out, right?
No,
Right.
and no pepperonis were harmed in the making of this.
I'm way too Italian to eat Domino's pizza. I can't. It's just not in my.
Somebody
not
told me they're
really.
back, and I'm like, okay,
They're
I'll
back.
find that out on your terms.
Right.
I'm not
Okay,
gonna go
so
there.
let's talk local.
So it's venture.
Best pizza in Crystal Lake.
Ooh.
Okay, best pizza in Crystal Lake. Well, I'm a Southside Chicago kid, so I don't think there is the best pizza in Crystal
I'm a
Lake.
north side of Chicago, so it's better.
Okay, here we go. It's the
Here
Cubs
we
versus Sox all over again.
I've lived in the suburbs my whole life.
Right.
Well,
Cherrywood
how about
Lane.
Giorgio's or
I'm gonna go with-
Hatzamore?
I'm gonna go with Sal's. I know that's Lake in the Hills, but come on.
That's okay.
But Sal's Pizza is just.
Yeah, Giorgio's is close to what I'm used to the real thing.
Yeah.
Right. And no knock to them, their pizza's good. I'm
Right.
just listen. I was a chef for 20 years. You have to be Mr. Giandano, who made my pizza playing Little League, the man himself.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean,
there
there's
you go.
yeah. What am I? I got to hold a high bar here, right?
I'll tell you this. I went to New York for the first time 2 years ago, and I was planning on eating, all the traditional stuff. You get the chopped cheese, you got to get a bagel, you
Yep.
got to get the pizza. And I had 2 different slices of pizza. And, oh, gosh, I hope none of your New York watchers are.
Okay, duck. Everybody duck.
It was not impressive. It was fine. It was like, this is fine pizza. But,
You remember Jenny, her daughter Jenny?
yeah, Jenny Pool.
She lives out on Long Island, so she's gotten used to New York style pizza.
I just think it was fine, and I couldn't understand. Like, I think that, like, if you go to a local Rosati's, I would rather have just like a Rosati's by the slice here than anything I had in New York. And I couldn't understand. Like, now I'm not a big deep dish fan. You can crap on deep dish all day long. If you're from not around here, yeah, our deep dish is not impressive. I think it's weird. It takes too long to cook. It's too come on, that's like deadly food. That's like
So you need
like
to
a
watch
weapon
your
of
mouth.
mass destruction.
No, just kidding. So, well, I'm a deep dish kid too. I love deep dish, and there's a few favorites that I have, and a lot of those are going to come from your local mom and pop shops. That
Yeah.
are well known. New York pizza is good for New York pizza.
Yeah,
New York pizza has its own trend. You fold it, you eat it.
I did that.
It
was good.
It's
fine.
yeah. So we're not going to knock New York pizzas. A lot of New Yorkers here in Chicago that are really defensive.
You know
about
what
Okay, you
is
really wanna
wrong
get-
though? Detroit pizza. It's just the shape is wrong.
I like the way it tastes, though.
What? Oh, there you go.
See,
Yeah.
you guys really want to get mad at me? I love ketchup on my hot dogs.
Okay.
That's it.
Ooh.
You know what? Get
Well,
rid of your
folks, that's
sport
all the time
peppers.
we have
That's
here
it.
today.
Get rid of your celery salt. I don't want any of that crap. It's not a salad. It's a hot dog.
Jake will be leaving Chicago soon.
We'll be taking him to Gina Jude's and see how they react to the ketchup order.
Can you flash the technical difficulties?
We'll pop this back up here for you.
Tell us just real quick. Give us a quick highlight of Codex.
Okay, what is the chord progression codex? This is 437 pages of information specifically only on writing chord progressions. So, when you pick up your guitar and you learn that Bob Dylan song and you learn that, Eagles song and you learn that Metallica song and you learn whatever it is, Taylor Swift. And sooner or later, you want to know, how do I write a chord progression like that? It's just C, G, A minor, F. How does this all work together? And you go online and somebody's like, oh, learn your circle of fifths. And then you spend 50 hours memorizing the circle of fifths and you still can't write a pop song. So this is like my goal to cure that. It's literally start to finish. Let's teach you to write chord progressions. Let's teach you to write the chord progressions you hear on the radio, in film score, in video games, the stuff that we hear on a daily basis in this century. So we're not focusing on the classical realm. We're not focusing on the jazz realm. And there's, let's put it this way. When it comes to jazz, if you can't understand everything in this book, you can't understand jazz. This is like the entry point to jazz. But yeah, it's starting off with, basic music theory. So even if you don't understand what music theory is, you're going to learn A, B, C, D, E, F, G, how to write in major, how to write in minor. And as we know, that's most of pop music right there.
Exactly.
After that, it gets into some fun stuff. We'll talk about relativity. Let's talk about why a song might be in A minor or C major or both or either. What is relativity? And then we get into arrangement. How do you make a chord sound interesting? How do you make those chords sound good on your instrument? And then it just goes crazy. It starts getting into 9th chords, 11th chords, 13th chords. We get into harmonic minor modes, melodic minor modes, all with one focus. Chord progressions. So I'm not teaching you how to shred. It's like there's literally, I know it sounds crazy, but I couldn't I just couldn't fit anything in more. And I tried to take out as much as possible just to keep it focused on that. And it still took up 430 pages. So, I mean, long story short, it's a reference too. You know, you could use it as a reference. If you already know all these chords, you can just, you know, oh, what was that 7-flat-9 chord? I saw in my chat. Just pull it up the 7-flat-9 section and you'll learn all about it. Not just a chart. You'll learn, you know, where you've heard it, where it might, what you can do with it, how it works into your different scales and modes, different voicings of it. So you can use it as an education to learn everything about modern harmony, or you could use it as a reference if you already know modern harmony, but you just kind of want to learn a little bit more about the Neapolitan sixth chord.
So this could actually help your creative juices go even further.
It's meant to be hands-on. And some of the comments I've gotten back, literally, I just got a comment yesterday for one of my Patreon live streams. He's like, the guy's like, I've had it next to my open to me on my DAW the entire time. Like I just read it and then I put it into my DAW and I start playing chord and I start writing with it.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, yes, I don't want you to just read it. I want you to fold the pages. I want this thing to be broken. Like I want it to get used. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be like, oh, I know music theory now. Like it's supposed to inspire you to write.
Well, we're keeping a copy in our student waiting area when the kids are waiting for lessons. So if you're in the Chicago area, especially if you're in the Crystal Lake area, stop in Piano Trends. You can at least take a look at this and get an idea for it. And I guarantee you're probably going to want to walk out with a copy of it for yourself.
I'll sign your copy.
Yes, Jake will sign his copy. You sign your name now?
I learned how to spell. Yeah, I learned how to. Yeah.
Just sign all the copies at the store.
Yeah, and exactly.
Then, you know.
Well, that might reduce the value. I'm not sure.
Well,
for some folks, that
we'll just deny that it was you.
Yeah. If somebody's offended, we'll take a couple bucks off.
And listen, folks, if you're looking to, not get the giant dictionary that's in front of you to go through it, signalsmusicstudio.com. Click on that link there for $279. Is that right?
$270 for the music theory course. But if you want the digital version of the chord progression codex, you can go on there and you can go to, I think you click on books or courses and you'll find this for $45.
Awesome.
Way cheaper. And, it's basically the same content, but, I don't have to pay for printing costs and shipping costs. So
correct.
I can, do a cheaper price there for you.
Yeah, fantastic.
Check it out. Google the chord progression codex. You should be able to find it.
Yeah, no, that's exciting.
Well, Jake, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for doing this. This is awesome to reunite, and I've really enjoyed the conversation.
We'll do this again, and you've got to join us on our Lifting Spirits Through Music live stream. Let's do that. And everybody there, keep watching for that, the daily live stream on Facebook.
You're not going to make me sing, right?
We might.
Oh, okay.
We might do the Piano Trends theme song that you wrote years ago that nobody remembers.
The lost theme song.
I'll shred a lot of paper. I can't shred anything.
Yeah.
I'll go there, but don't expect anything.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And we want to thank 216 Creator Studios for producing. Drew, thank you so much for
Very
being
welcome
with us. We appreciate that. And we will see you guys at the next Conversations Around the Piano on Lifting Spirits.